I'm Nikki Hardiman, and I'm glad you're joining us for Study at Faith Element. I'm here to provide you with some background information on your biblical passage for today. The text for this week is Psalm 118. This psalm is one of 6 Hallel psalms, which were traditionally sung at joyous occasions. The bulk of this psalm is about how God saved the people of Israel from external threats, and may possibly refer to some unexpected military victory. It is possible that this psalm was also used at times of celebration related to how God delivered the Israelites out of the hands of Pharaoh's army when Moses parted the Red Sea and when they were rescued from exile in Babylon. It is likely that this psalm would have been sung on these special occasions as the priests and the people were processing into the temple. The climax of the psalm, verse 19, would have been recited as they were just reaching the doors of the temple. "Open to me the gates of righteousness, that I may enter through them and give thanks to the Lord." Then they would process to the altar to adorn it with signs of victory, as we read in verse 27. "The Lord is God, and He has given us light. Bind the festal procession with branches up to the horns of the altar." It is fitting that we read this psalm at Easter. The writer of this psalm was recording how God transformed the fate of Israel on so many occasions. The Israelites were so often perceived to be the victim at the hand of some outside force. Yet God transformed them from being the victim to being the victor in times of turmoil and oppression. Likewise, when we read this at Easter, we are recalling how Jesus has transformed our fate through His resurrection. In His death, Jesus too was a victim at the hands of people in power. But in His resurrection, He became the victor over them and ultimately over death. Several of the New Testament writers point back to verse 22 in this psalm to explain and describe the work that God did through the person of Jesus. The stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. For us at Easter, verse 17 stands in sharp focus for what we celebrate. The psalmist writes, "I shall not die, but I shall live and recount the deeds of the Lord." As Christians, we proclaim the hope that death does not have the final say, and in that hope, God rescues us from death. However, this is not the only way that we are rescued. When we look to the heritage that our Jewish brothers and sisters share through this psalm of rejoicing, we know that God also works to rescue us from our own death-like existences in this day. We do not simply have to wait until we die to learn how to live. Through not only His death and resurrection, but also through His life, Jesus is teaching us how to live. Whatever it is that is killing us in this present day, be it addiction, a destructive relationship, our own obsession and temptation toward the things that destroy us, an overwhelming grief, anxiety, our own desire to maintain an outward appearance of having it all together. Whatever it is, Jesus calls us to live knowing that we do not have to be the victim of our own circumstances, but that there is power for us to rise up and live victoriously. Let us proclaim with the psalmist, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His steadfast love endures forever."